Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now with the main headlines. Millions of loyal pilgrims of the Ahlul Bayt revive mid-Sha'ban night in the holy city of Karbala. Shirazi affiliated centers and organizations worldwide celebrate the blessed birth of Imam al-Mahdi Ajjallah Ta'ala Farajuhu al-Sharif. Zainabiyya Hawza dispatches relief aid to earthquake-affected families in Syria. Afghan universities reopened, but women still barred by the Taliban. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear viewers. This is Yunus Dawood and you're watching Shia Waves live from Imam Hussein TV 3. Millions of Shia followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhum salam commemorated the birth anniversary of Imam al-Mahdi Ajjallah Ta'ala Farajuhu al-Sharif on the middle of the night of Sha'ban in the shrines of Imam al-Hussein and Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas alayhum salam in the holy city of Karbala. The lovers of Ahlul Bayt lit 1,189 symbolic candles indicating the age of the Imam's life, Ajjallah Ta'ala Farajuhu al-Sharif. Husseini service processions spreading all over the province distributed food and drinks to the honourable pilgrims. Official departments in cooperation with the holy shrines laid security and emergency plans to provide best services during the massive mid-Sha'ban pilgrimage. According to the media department of Imam Hussein Shrine, over 2 million pilgrims celebrated the blessed mid-Sha'ban night in the holy city of Karbala. The Islamic foundations and centers affiliated to the Shirazi religious authority in Arab and foreign countries have revived the 3 days consecutive for ceremonies of the birth of Imam al-Mahdi Ajjallah Ta'ala Farajuhu al-Sharif. Both in Kuwait, the mosque of the two Imams Al-Kadhim and Al-Hadi alayhum salam commemorated the occasions of the blessed Sha'ban births, which began with the birth of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam and ended with the birth of Imam al-Mahdi Ajjallah Ta'ala Farajuhu al-Sharif. In Bahrain, the office of the deputy of the Shirazi religious authority, Hujjat al-Islam wal-Muslimin, Sheikh Abd al-Shahid al-Sitrawi, celebrated the anniversary of the birth of Ahlul Bayt. Globally, the Danish capital Copenhagen also hosted joyful festivals at Imam al-Sadiq Foundation amid attendance of Shia followers. Ceremonies carried out in Danish and Arabic languages when reciters delivered their poems on the love of Ahlul Bayt alayhum salam. Also in Sweden, similar ceremonies were organized at Sayyidah Fatima Al-Zahra and Khadija Al-Kubra alayhum salam in the city of Wimbury. It is also worth mentioning that other centers in other countries also had festivals and celebrations to express love and delight over these blessed occasions. The shelter center in Balba, Syria, expressed on behalf of all people affected by the earthquake in Syrian cities of Kafriya and Al-Fu'a its thanks and gratitude appreciation for the aid campaign provided by the Zainabiyya Hawza, the seminary affiliated to Grand Ayatollah Shirazi. The deanship of the Hawza, in a statement received by Shia Waves agency, said that it dispatched urgent food aid to the residents of the shelter center in Balba, Syria, after their homes were damaged by the devastating earthquake that struck the country. The statement also added that the public relations representative of the Zainabiyya seminary visited the shelter center in Balba and has briefed on the tragic and critical conditions of the earthquake-stricken people. It also added, after reviewing the conditions of the afflicted and receiving a report on the conditions, the public relations representative of the Zainabiyya seminary, in cooperation with His Eminence office in the city of Damascus, sent subsidies to the shelter center consisting of foodstuffs, clothing, sanitary essentials and other supplies. These humanitarian activities are based on the directives of the Honourable Religious Authority, who repeatedly emphasize the importance of extending a helping hand to those in need. Let us remind our respective viewers of today's headlines. Millions of loyal pilgrims of Ahlul Bayt revive mid-Sha'ban night in the holy city of Karbala. Shirazi affiliated centers and organizations worldwide celebrate the blessed birth of Imam al-Mahdi Ajjallah Ta'ala Farajuhu al-Sharif. Zainabiyya Hawza dispatches relief aid to earthquake-affected families in Syria. Also tonight, Non-violence organizations issue statement on International Women's Day. Male students have trickled back to their classes after universities reopen in Afghanistan following a winter break. But women remain barred by the ruling Taliban. The university ban is one of several restrictions imposed on women since the Taliban stormed back into power in August 2021 and has sparked global outrage. The Taliban government imposed the ban, accusing female students of ignoring a strict dress code and a requirement to be accompanied by a male relative to and from the campus. Several Taliban officials say the ban on women's education is temporary, but despite promises, they have failed to reopen secondary schools for girls, which have been closed for more than over a year. Women have been removed from many government jobs or are paid a fraction of their former salary to stay at home. They are also barred from going to parks, fairs, gyms and public baths, and must cover up in public rights group have condemned the restrictions that condemn these restrictions, which are the United Nations called gender-based apartheid. And now we'll continue with some short news. The administration of the Great Husseini Project, affiliated to the Public Relations Office of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi, launched their campaigns to serve pilgrims on the mid of Sha'ban pilgrimage in the holy city of Karbala. According to the campaign coordinator, Hussein al-Mujahid, the activities launched to clean the streets of the holy city and transport the elderly, the sick and other people with disabilities by the means of medical vehicles. This campaign comes within the framework of the Visitors Helper initiative, which has recently spread through social media to encourage Iraqi youth to volunteer to serve visitors of the holy shrines on various religious occasions. The Saudi Ministry of Hajj and Umrah announced that the kingdom is ready to receive 2 million pilgrims during the Hajj season for the current year of 1444, after Hijrah, corresponding to 2023. According to Arab media outlets, the groups are not allowed to travel to perform Hajj this year, according to the decisions of the Ministries of Health and Interior, and solidarity are as patients with renal failure who require dialysis sessions, patients with pulmonary fibrosis, cases of morbid obesity, advanced cases of cardiovascular diseases, and other patients with renal fibrosis and pregnant women in their first and last months, other people with mental illnesses and Alzheimer's, according to approved medical reports, people with other chronic and incurable diseases are not allowed. Those who have previously performed Hajj to 5 previous other years. Rishi Sunak's government has been accused of extinguishing the right to seek refugee protection in the UK by the United Nations Refugee Agency after the introduction of a new law to stop small boats from crossing the channel. In an unusually critical statement by the United Nations, said the legislation, if passed, would amount to an asylum ban, extinguishing the right to seek refugee protection in the United Kingdom for those who arrive irregularly, no matter how genuine and compelling their claim may be. The effect of the bill in this form would be to deny protection to many asylum seekers, to deny the need of safety and protection, and even deny the opportunity to put forward their case to the United Nations, said. More than 3,000 have already made the journey so far this year. Home Office figures show 197 made the crossing on Monday, the first arrivals since February the 24th, taking the total date to 3,150, The Guardian also reported. At least 15 people have been killed with dozens missing after torrential rain and landslide hit Indonesia's Natuna region on the edge of the South China Sea. Pictures and video from the National Disaster Mitigation Agency showed landslide cascading through forested areas and dumping mud and debris on houses on the remote Sarasan Island. The Natuna Research and Rescue Center Agency head Abdul Rahman told the AFP news agency that 15 people had been confirmed dead and 50 were missing. Indonesia is prone to landslide during the rainy season, aggravated in some places by deforestation, and prolonged torrential rain has caused flooding in different areas of the archipelago nation. At least 17 people have been killed and 150 injured in an explosion inside an office building in the Bangladeshi capital Dhaka. Police and fire service officials have also stated that the explosion shook the 4th and 5th floors of the fire-story building in Gulistan, a major hub for wholesale goods in the capital, shortly before 5 p.m. local time on Tuesday. Authorities could not immediately provide the reason behind the huge explosion in the bustling commercial area. The international non-violence organization Free Muslim issued an important statement on International Women's Day, which is marked on the 8th of March, in which it affirmed its achievement in various political, social and economic fields. It also called for the lifting restrictions imposed on women, as in the case for Afghanistan and in Iran, in order to enable them to exercise their legitimate rights. Also, the organization statement stated, which has received by Shia Waves agency, said that we celebrate with the whole world the International Women's Day, which was adopted by the United Nations as an annual day in the appreciation of the status of women and a reminder of their achievements in various political and socio-economic fields. With a different theme chosen for it each year, he continued the slogan of International Women's Day. This year, as much as it carries high aspirations for the future role of women, will not invite us to ignore their sufferings in a number of societies and countries that impose the most severe restrictions on their rights, guaranteed by divine international laws. And the statement also pointed out that one of the criteria for the advancements of societies is the extent of concern for the status of women, defending them from preserving their rights. Does not mean befitting by the men's rights, but is considered a defense of them, as well as a real man does not complete his personality and manhood except by standing with women. He stressed that on International Women's Day, we join our voices with the voices of women around the world to obtain their rights and preserve their dignity and safety and ensure their progress and development in order to build a prosperous future for all of humanity. On the International Women's Day, which is celebrated today, the 8th of March, the Shirazi World Foundation calls on Arab and Muslim leaders to act on restoring women's rights. More details in the following report.
On the International Women's Day, the Shirazi World Foundation called on the leaders and the people of Arab and Islamic countries alike to work to restore the true rights of women and to move away from the agendas pursued by some international systems that make women lose their dignity and value. The foundation said in a special message on the occasion seen by Shia Waves agency, the true Islam has honoured women, this exceptional human being, and distinguished her through its law and teachings, and gave her an authentic and fundamental position. The message continued, in the biography of the Messenger of God and his family, peace be upon them, there are positions and a fixed approach in honouring women and glorifying their status with respect and veneration. And it is sufficient for her that Allah has made heaven to lie under her feet and to make his satisfaction depend on her satisfaction. And as the Prophet recommended in his narrations, to respect and value women. The statement pointed out that imposition of hijab on women provides a psychological and physical protection that reflects the high status of women that Islam wants for her within societies. It also added that Islam did not ignore women's rights in their daily affairs, such as the right to a dignified and safe life and the right to education, expression, work and other rights that almost outweigh the rights of men in some aspects of life. The foundation called on people in societies to adhere to Islamic teachings and social norms that champion women and protect their rights, indicating that it, at the same time, seizes this occasion to call for amnesty for women arrested on political grounds, as pardon is the characteristic of the brave. Reporting Aruj Fatah Malik, Shia Waves.
We have reached the end of today's Shia Wave show. Let's remind our viewers of today's headlines. Millions of loyal pilgrims of the Ahlul Bayt revive mid-Sha'ban night in the holy city of Karbala. Shirazi affiliated centers and organizations worldwide celebrate the blessed birth of Imam al-Mahdi Ajjallah Ta'ala Farajuh al-Sharif. Zainabiyya Hawza dispatches relief aid to earthquake-affected families in Syria. Afghan universities reopened, but women still barred by Taliban. Non-violence organizations issue statement on International Women's Day. Shirazi World Foundation calls on Arab and Muslim leaders to act on restoring women's rights. You can view the latest news on Shia Waves website. You can also send the news of your city or country to be published on our news agency. Contact us on the numbers at the bottom of the screen. This is the end of today's news. Thank you for watching, and we pray to Allah Almighty to hasten the appearance of the Master of our time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.